definitely going to be bringing this one to the forefront. But this is Ari, Kayle, and Nah ban. Interesting that they do opt to ban Kayle against Ramil after that last game. I almost feel that they picked Kayle to stop Jotorius getting it, but maybe Ramil has that up his sleeve.
He played it super
I mean, he played it so well.
Yeah,
he did play it so well.
If he gets after 20 minutes, Kayle is still an amazingly strong mid laner or jungler or whatever you want to play it as. And UNiTE banning out that Nah as well, as you said. Zinzao and Warwick coming out here from Perilous Rift. So Boosh having that Ceirnan ban against him already. There's the Syndra left available here. There's the Orianna as well. Graves still up if anyone wants to pick him. Yeah. Lots of champions still available in this pick and ban phase. It's going to be Syndra for UNiTE. Who do you think Perilous Rift are going to lock in now?
Well, so that's UNiTE Unlimited has got his Syndra, so that's his big champion. Maxlaw going for a Lee Sin. Rengar hasn't been banned. Obviously, he may not prefer it in this 420 jungle. Pre-420, Maxlaw's Rengar was the best Rengar in the UK, potentially. He had a lot of target bans against him, all the way building up to the Four Nations qualification. If you were playing in a game against Maxlaw when he used to be playing for you, what, mate? You'd ban Rengar against that guy. And actually, they're going to take Nami away from Coco Pops. So don't want him to have that. Haven't banned it. They're going to give it over to Hado. So Maxlaw going to be on Lee Sin. I wouldn't expect that to be Lee Sin in the top lane, but hold on, guys. Chunky's Riven hasn't been banned.
That's true. Riven's still available. There's so many, there's just so many champions available. We're seeing this more and more as we get into the later stages of the Four Nations. They've gone through all the qualifiers over the last 6 months or so, and now we see people being like, well, I need to start banning out this person's champion. I need to start banning out the Nah. I have to ban out Kayle because Ramil played it so well last time. Orianna's still available. That's Ramil's favorite champion.
Exactly.
And Limit loves the Orianna as well. Cassidin's still available here as well. Boosh could take that into the top lane again.
I wouldn't expect him to first pick the Cassidin, knowing that Chunky's Riven is still available. They've actually banned the Sion. They don't want to deal with those relentless onslaughts coming through the lanes. And Boosh did, you know, all credit to the guy. He had a good performance, and he did try to put some map pressure down. It was just kind of outplayed by Choke Gaming. They never let it get to a point where it was ever going to become effective. But this is the first time I've seen Enlemic get Syndra for a while. It's a big pickup for him here. Actually, Ramil potentially locking in the Veigar here.
Is it going to be a Veigar? I'm not sure how Veigar works against Syndra. Because I can understand it working against Xerath because he's trying to get close to you. You can lock him out with that event horizon as well. But against a Syndra, Syndra just has a lot of bursts. Maybe as she comes towards you to get the unleash power off, you can then chuck down the event horizon and burst her down with the primordial burst, the ultimate coming out from Veigar. But I'm not sure. I haven't seen Ramil play a lot of Syndra. I've seen, a lot of Veigar. I've seen it on DX Alchemist. He loves that champion. He's very strong in it. Can Ramil bring that same level of skill to the mid lane? No, because he's going to play Fizz.
He's going to play Fizz, which actually is a pretty decent matchup in... Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. Ramil has the kit post-6 to be able to outplay Syndra. He's just going to struggle really hard in lane early on. He's going to have to go Crystalline Flask. He's going to have to go all the pots to keep himself sustained, because you just cannot use that Playful Trickster enough to dodge the Dark Spheres that will be coming down consistently from Enlimit Syndra. But once you get post-6, as long as you see the wind-up animation for Unleash Power, you can dodge the damage with the Playful Trickster. And obviously there is the potential to dodge the Force of Will and the Scatter the Weak, which means you can get straight on top of the Syndra and look to get your burst damage down. But really, it's a favourable matchup in terms of Syndra. Just Ramil does have the kit, if necessary, to make very clutch outplays. So interesting to see how this one works out. Could even pull a full, forgotten the guy's name, the guy who plays top lane Fizz in America.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
Who plays top lane Fizz these days?
He just qualified for the LCS, I believe. Was going to pharmacological school and then dropped out for you.
Well, that is a good story, isn't it?
I can't remember the guy's name, but basically there's a guy in America who plays a lot of unorthodox top lane champions like Fizz. Oh, this is definitely Hecarim top for Boosh. Definitely Hecarim top. Now, I've seen this a few times now. I know it might even be Skarner top. No, it's definitely going to be Hecarim top. I've seen this a few times now, not from Boosh, but I've seen it from a couple of guys who used to play on the Choke lineup. A guy notably Choke Go-Fish. Choke had a previous lineup, and they actually managed to rotate around and pick up a new lineup, which was it used to be called UK Randoms. You now see them as Choke Gaming in this tournament, but this will be Boosh picking up Hecarim top, and now Go-Fish played it to great success. I believe I played it to great success.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
In a tournament that me and myself and Sona played in, and I actually...
That's what happens when I play with a bronze 580 carry.
No,
anyway, it was a good game, and it was great fun. Hecarim top can work out really well. He's very strong. He can get a lot of pressure down, but Chunky on Riven is a sight to behold. He can be so strong. He can get so much pressure down, and he's just such a good Riven player.
It's going to be difficult, though, because I think Hecarim definitely has a poor matchup against Riven. Like, you know, Hecarim's sustain is pretty good. You know, he's got that, I can't remember what it's called, the Onslaught of Shadows, that's his ultimate. But basically his W skill allows him to get health back during, you know, all damage done within that circle gives him health back. So he has got a bit of sustain in that form, but really, he's going to struggle unless he gets a lot of early defenses against this Riven. He's going to have the Onslaught of Shadows to get away, but you probably can't out-trade a Riven early on as Hecarim. Maybe if he looks to get that Triforce, the Spellblade passive, he can use with his Q to consistently proc it and maybe look to get some sort of damage in that way. But really, Chunky, this is his best champion, hasn't been banned against him. And actually, Razor on Skarner, that's such an interesting pick.
Yeah,
because
we don't see much Skarner.
I've not seen a Skarner.
I guess he sustains himself quite well because he's got that crystalline exoskeleton, so he's got a bit of a shield as he goes around the jungle.
You no longer heal yourself, I don't think.
No, but you've still got a bit of a shield.
You've still got a bit of a shield.
You've got the Impale that you get as you get to level 6. That's a lot of damage, a lot of ability to lock someone out and then get the Unleashed power off as well. And their problem's going to be Ramel's quite mobile, Riven's very mobile, Chunky's going to be easily escaping that Impale. Maxor as well can safeguard away. Quick draw coming out from Sir Scott. You have to get really up close and personal with this team coming out from Perilous Rift, and they've got a few escapes on them. That means that they can just escape that Impale.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the instance that Maxor is now playing his Lee Sin. His Lee Sin is very good. Expect to see a lot of early aggression coming out from him. He won't have the same sort of dragon control that he does on Pantheon, although he didn't actually manage to exert the same level that we've seen previously from in the past this tournament. But I'd expect to be seeing him going fairly aggressive compared to the fact that Razor likely won't have the same kind of impact on the map. But think about it this way. You've got Impale, Unleashed Power, Onslaught of Shadows. So Onslaught of Shadows, the fear goes your way. You manage to get someone on the outskirts, which can be impaled, instantly picked off by Limit. There's a lot of RNG involved in that kind of stuff, but you can see the kind of combo that could be pulled out here. And if Boosh does manage to get a flying start, I expect him to be really dominant in teamfights. But we know Chunky. I have never had the privilege of seeing this guy's Riven play in a competitive tournament. And there's a lot of hype around it. Everyone says you've got to ban Riven against Chunky. He will just carry the game. So, it's time's now, Chunky. You step up to the stage. You have your Riven. Are we going to see something like that?
Quite possibly. I mean, the problem always is for Chunky on the top lane. People know that he plays Riven. People know that he loves Riven. And you see a lot of pressure going down onto him in that top lane because if you can lock him out of those early kills, you can stop that Riven snowball. It's going to be very difficult for him to get the extra pressure off that you'd like, especially if he can't get a good teleport gank off. And you've got Monsoon coming out from Cocoa Pops. You've got Hustling who can jump away as well. You've got the Scatter the Weak coming out from Syndra. It's going to be hard for him to actually get onto this UNiTE line. And I'm expecting a few flash broken wings. That's his main engage. That's how he's going to be getting into that backline.
I mean, the guy is just brilliant. He'll be pulling out all of those fantastic mechanics you expect a top tier Riven player to be able to do. The flash key strike, the flash broken wing, all that kind of stuff. You know, the key to playing Riven is getting those auto attacks in between your broken wings charges. So you Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, Q, auto attack, and then suddenly, you know, you've done a lot of damage because Riven's passive provides you with a great boost to AD in between auto attacks. And obviously then you can combine it with your key strike and your shield. All of those count, as well as when your passive scales with the damage that you get from your ultimate. So when you get into the ultimate, it's even more imperative to get those auto attacks off in between your skills. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to this. Ramel's Fizz, we haven't seen much of. We're very much used to him playing longer range, safer, you'd say, mid lane. As you said previously, he's a great Syndra and great Orianna. You tend to see that kind of play from Ramil. So I'm going to be looking forward to his Fizz play because it's something that's a bit outside of what we'd expect. You know, Ramel's play style.
It's definitely very exciting to see him go for this more aggressive mid lane, especially against the Syndra. I mean, it's the matchup of the underwater beast because we've got Atlantean Syndra and then Void Fizz as well coming out. So I'm really looking forward to that mid lane. Of course, Boosh with that Spirit of Dread in top lane can keep himself relatively well sustained. We are just onto the Rift, guys, waiting for the players to be released from their circular fountain cages so that they can get ready and raring to go. And there we go. People not it looks like it's going to be defensive from both teams. They've spread out already before they even left.
There's no immediate grouping up from lanes. There's not going to be any flashy lane swaps. We haven't seen any of these kind of lane swaps early on in the game, actually. So looks like there's going to be very defensive positions. Like you said, there's going to be some early walls coming down. Like the early movement speed boost allows you to get to these defensive positions more quickly, as Janet actually heading towards that mid lane, trying to just be a little bit of a ward herself. But big early ward coming out there from Hustlin means that there's not going to be any sneaky invades into that tri-brush area, but nothing actually being tried by the Rift Gaming side here. Perilous Rift, they're just very defensive, and it does look like Maxlaw may be starting up on that top side with Chunky, so going to go towards those Krugs and then go towards his red buff. There's not, he's not sitting on the side of blue side. He may essentially move down there eventually when he knows that his red side jungle is safe. It may make more sense to try and mirror matchup where the Ceirnan is potentially going to be heading, but he's going to be going for that blue potentially as well. Obviously, if he does choose to go for the Krugs, you take that away from the bot lane, and you'll often find a lot of junglers will now look to start away from where their bot lane can get that early XP advantage. So they'll start on the side that's opposite because they don't want to take away that kind of advantage from their bot lane.
Most definitely, and we do see a Crystalline Flask on Ramil on that Fizz in the mid lane, going to help him sustain through the pressure coming out from those Dark Spheres from UNiTE. Earlier on we saw Dawn's Ring, didn't work out that well for Jotorius BIG. Ramil gone a little bit more defensive, decides, well, I'm going to take a lot of harassment from Syndra. She's got a lot of ability to get those Dark Spheres down and just poke you down as a mid laner. So just going a little bit more defensive, keep himself nicely sustained.
It makes a lot of sense. He's also got the biscuits as well, the total biscuit of rejuvenation. So you basically get a little bit of immediate health, and sometimes all it takes is that little extra 20 health to keep yourself alive. We've seen it time and time again, people escaping on 1 HP, get that little rejuvenation biscuit in, and suddenly you've got the HP to survive. So, and you can also spam them, so you get like 60 health in one go sometimes. So obviously really fantastic. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. Top lane matchup will be my matchup of choice for this game, I believe. You've got such an unorthodox picks in the form of Hecarim going up against potentially one of the best Ribbons in the UK. Very smart of him to start off that Valor. He wants to make sure he's negating the early damage coming out from Rampage. It's actually 70 damage every 4 seconds. It's pretty ridiculous from the Hecarim, and such a low mana cost as well. And a lot of damage in this bot lane coming down too. They've managed to hit level 2 and just zoning them out here, Sir Scott and Hado, taking away the Nami as well. Such a big thing for Coco Pops.
It can be. Coco Pops loves the Nami, but of course, having played it so much, he'll know how to play against it as well. With that Janna putting the Eye of the Storm down, just trying to shield up his AD carry. It's the ebb and flow really in bot lane that defines Nami. She's got so much ability to sustain up, get some damage down as well if you time it correctly and get it onto the enemies, and you can even get a double heal off it, which can be so strong in what tend to be very close fights in bot lane.
Oh, look at Chunky going aggressive onto Boosh, and the trade well in favor of Chunky there. That was beautiful auto attack chaining too. The guy is on point right now. Expect to see some big plays coming out from him. But the Flask start does mean that, oh, there we go.
They're going in for the stun. Maxwell's around as well, going to try and get onto Boosh, but he just runs himself away. And that Unicorn Pony will be able to escape up towards his top lane tower. Does have teleport, of course, so can join that fight very quickly once more. Howling Gale not going to connect in the bot lane.
Oh, Ramil
did take quite a bit of damage. Ramil is here. Went aggressive onto UNiTE, got him down quite low, and we did see Razor trying to come in just to protect his mid laner.
Yeah, and Chunky, right now, you've given him a little bit of that advantage in lane. You don't want to do that as against the Riven. He is so fantastic on that Riven. As soon as you give him an inch, he'll start to take your health bars by the mile, or by the kilometer rather, for your rest of the European viewers. But he really will start to push the advantage down. And Boots, the first item coming out on Hecarim, obviously he does more damage as the more movement speed he's got. So actually getting Boots early on is equivalent of getting a little bit of AD as well. So not a bad item. Also means he can maneuver away from the Riven as much as he possibly can. But look at Chunky, he's picked up another long sword and a Doran's blade, as well as an extra pot. This guy is incredibly far ahead. He's going to pick up another pot and I believe teleport back to lane. As he might even, he's going to teleport.
Interestingly, actually, no Ghost being picked up on Boosh. You can see Ghost on Hecarim quite often. It gives you a lot of pressure, but the flash makes sense, especially when you're going against a Riven who's got so much all-in potential. You don't have the time to Ghost away.
It gives you the potential to flash out of the... oh wow, a lot of damage coming down. Chunky, you absolute god there. But a nice bit of sustain coming out. And look, actually, Boosh doing a good job here.
Of counter-harassing, but Chunky will have that Kai strike up in just a second. He's going to go in, broken windows
Oh my word!
Chunky gets the first blood, and what a close fight in the top lane. Boosh actually leveled up, Chunky managing to survive just about and gets the first blood.
Yeah, I mean, that was the longer that engagement went on before Chunky went down, the more favor it was going to go in favor of him. As soon as his cooldowns are up, you expect him to have a lot of pseudo sustain in the form of that Valor. He can come straight out, use it, and then get the broken wings. And unfortunately, I think Boosh over-egging his luck there. Really wanted that final rampage to come down. A favorable trade for him meant he tried to engage a little bit too much there. And unfortunately, going to go in favor of Riven, and means a big item being picked up for Chunky in the form of that Brutalizer. I think the first item we'd see coming out on Hecarim is likely to be that Phage. Only even further benefits his kit. If you imagine the fact that you get increased movement speed on hit with Phage, scales with your passive, meaning you get more AD the more times you hit. So keeping that Phage passive up means that you'll have more AD, and makes sense on Hecarim to go for it. Sometimes you can go for the Spellblade too, because Rampage will give you the easy proc and you get the extra AD there, but looks like he wants the health as well. I think he's going to need it. But definitely, like I said, the flash is so key to get away from Blade of the Exile. The wind slash right at the end, you can flash out of it, and you can see a lot of nice outplays if you have a flash against the Riven. Ghost will not provide you the same kind of opportunity. Yeah,
most definitely. We do see Razor trying to come down towards this bot lane. Just going to start up that Rift Scuttler. Looks almost like one of his brothers in arms as he takes him down. Razor will try and get in for the gank, but it was just spotted out by a ward, which went down as soon as he came around, so wasn't able to clear that one out. 700 gold, the lead for Perilous Rift at the moment. All of that sitting on Chunky in the top lane. Yeah, very far ahead of Boosh, but Boosh has a little bit more team fight pressure if he can stop Chunky from snowballing now and then manage to get in with those teleports into the onslaught of shadows that we were talking about earlier. He has a lot of ability to switch a team fight very quickly with that fear. Yeah,
I mean, obviously there is a bit more team fight orientation around the Hecarim. Boosh definitely can have a massive impact. We've seen that he likes to look to affect the map as soon as he can. He is level 6 now, but he's obviously a little bit behind, and against a Riven, you're going to be worried about the split push a little bit more than you would be against the Yorick. So obviously he can't leave lane as readily. Obviously,
Ramo's actually going to use Chamberlain Waters on the limit. He has to flash away, and that was very aggressive from him.
He's actually doing a really good job. He's even in CS, which against a Syndra just shouldn't be happening when you're playing up against a Fizz. Ramil having a great time of it in this mid lane. Interestingly enough, we've just seen Maxlaw be very defensive. He's not really looked to affect that. He's behind on farm, behind on levels right now. Just kind of been a little bit lost, it seems, at the moment. He does give this blue buff away to Ramil, obviously a great thing for him to do. Going to hit level 5 on the top of it too. Gone for the Stalker's Blade.
Yeah, that's really interesting on Elise then.
Well, it's interesting in the sense that it makes sense because you're looking to want to gank, but he hasn't had the opportunity to get ganks off just yet. Maybe he wants to get this early dragon on the board, as there is no vision control coming down, and he is going to start it up.
Stalker's Blade has the chilling smite on it as well, which is the slow. Now, that combined with Tempest and Cripple means that your enemy isn't really going to be able to get away from you, and it gives you the ability to land that Sonic Wave resonating strike a little bit easier as well. So I guess it makes sense in that regard, but as you say, he hasn't really been getting the ganks off. Dragon is going to go across here to Perilous Rift. Really nicely done by them to pick up an early dragon.
Nice juggling. You can see it there. Really nice juggling.
The new dragon's actually a lot easier to juggle than it used to be because it attacks so slowly. You just have to time it properly. Ramil going to jump it onto and limit. He doesn't have that Chum the Waters. He dodges out the Scat of the Week though, and it's just a little bit of extra harassment coming down from that Voidwalker Fizz.
Yeah, Maxlaw going to go and try and take this red buff away.
That's really nicely done.
Nicely done. He has got that smite, didn't use it on the dragon, so really nice preemptive thought to try and take this red buff away, as I don't think Razor is going to get there in time before Maxlaw can get it, which is really nice on him. It's going to be the first positive thing that he's done apart from taking the dragon to affect
It's all about ward control as well. He has perfect vision of the entire red buff area. Ramil going to go in onto a limit as well in the mid lane. He dodges out the Scat of the Week. That should be a dead Syndra. The passive will proc there. Grievous Wounds manages to get the kill with that Seastone Trident, and Ramil picks up a kill in the mid lane. Nicely done by him. We talked about how he should be harassed down in that lane.
He should have been. There should have been more aggression coming out. There was no input from either jungler, and really in a 1v1 matchup, you'd expect Syndra to have a pretty decent time against a Fizz. But Ramil just playing so aggressive. Obviously managed to put the fear in end limit early on with the aggressive plays that he was making. Obviously, as a Fizz, you can have the potential to level 2 or 3 all in, and then you set the precedent for how you're going to play that lane. And obviously, sometimes you can play mind games with your opponent. You can say, this is how I'm going to play the lane. how do you want to play the lane? And obviously going aggressive against Unlimit means he may be more worried about getting caught out, because obviously then you've got to think to your head, oh no, what if I miss my Scatter the Weak?
Yeah.
What if I miss my Force of Will?
Yeah.
I'm going to get killed here, so maybe I just shouldn't even go for it. So that's really nicely played by Ramil there, and he's reaped the rewards for his aggression, yeah.
He has reaped the rewards for his aggression. So Scott going to get jumped on here by Hustling. Nice smoke screen from him. Means that Hustling can't follow up on the damage. And meanwhile, Razor's trying to clear out this pink ward. Will get it away. But UNiTE at the moment definitely on the back foot. About 1,000 gold behind. That dragon behind as well. And if Ramil can get rolling, he's got his Sheen already. It's going to be difficult for them to stop this Fizz.
Yeah, difficult to stop the Fizz, and unfortunately, there's a lot.
Ramil's going to go in, but
Ramil.
there's 2 people in that bush. Ramil, you have to be careful. Some of the waters does come out. There's the impalement.
Oh, Maxlaw though.
Jumps onto it.
Oh, the kick! Oh.
The kick not quite enough, and the Onslaught of Shadows does pick up the kill. There is the Grievous Wounds passive picking up the kill onto Unlimit. Nicely done there from that Seastone tried at being able to pick up the kill, but Ramil really wasn't expecting there to be 2 people in that bush.
Again, it's just Boosh doing what he does really well and looking to affect the map. Unfortunately, it does mean it's given Chunky an even bigger advantage in this top lane, who's now working towards what looks to be a Tiamat here with that pickaxe and the rejuvenation beads. But unfortunately, Boosh down a large portion of CS, has managed to have his input and get a kill here, but still probably can't go toe-to-toe with Chunky, who's got a good set of experience on him, as well as a lot of damage in the bag too. And actually, does look like the Spellblade Sheen was picked up for Hecarim before he did go for that Phage. So looks to want to look for the trades as opposed to the sustained damage that the Phage would provide.
Most definitely. Meanwhile, bot lane, a 20 CS advantage for Perilous Rift at the moment. Ramil trying to be aggressive again in the mid lane. Unlimit has to be so careful, because Ramil is just on point at the moment. Even though he was 3v2, he managed to get a kill. And he's dodging out these Dark Spheres really well as well. Still ahead on CS. That is so important on a Fizz in the mid lane. Yeah,
I mean, it's just the amount of lane dominance he's got in this position. Unlimit is just not having a great time. He's actually being forced to go for the
here we
Athene.
go. There's the chilling smite, but Unlimit, nice flash, just managing to get past that Dragon's Rage kick. Meant that Maxwell kicked him back towards tower, but the flash has been burnt there on the Syndrome, means that Ramil can be even more aggressive. Yeah,
there was no wards for Maxlaw to jump to there, so unfortunately had the flash and a counter flash from Unlimit. Oh, there we go, Ramil going aggressive.
Ramil going aggressive in the mid lane. Chum Waters does come down. He's not going to pick up Unlimit this time.
Oh, that's
Scatter
nice.
the Weak actually knocking Ramil back, even though he tried to play full Trickster it. Not able to connect with that one.
Yeah, interesting. I'm still interested with this Skarner pick. Hasn't had as much of an impact on the map. Obviously, Maxlaw not really had the same impact either. And really, hasn't been much coming out from Razor. He's just been farming, looking to maybe build himself towards that mid game. He is a large chunk of CS up and a large chunk of gold up on Maxlaw. So that's really the saving grace here for UNiTE. And if they can look to make use of that towards the next Dragon fight, definitely a big thing for them.
Most definitely. Maxwell actually coming in for a gank in the bot lane very early. No one's going to be there, and he's pinged out, so he must have been spotted as he went around. But with the Dragon up in 1 minute 25, this has to be the next point of contention. Ramil trying to come down, trying to get that scuttling crab. He'll pick that one up for himself and for his team. Gives him just a little bit of extra control over this Dragon pit area. Yeah,
he did get picked up by a ward as he was doing that. The pings did come down as Unlimit and Razor take away that blue buff. And Chunky actually not going toe-to-toe with Hecarim at this point. Boosh actually out-trading fairly well with that Sheen passive right there. Now the Tiamat has been completed though, you can cancel the animations on Chunky, which is even bigger. Means you can get those quicker auto-attacks off before you look to start to cast your next animations. And a lot of damage going to come down onto this turret. Obviously, you don't cast spells as Ribbon when you're attacking a turret, because I don't feel your passive doesn't apply to turrets. So obviously, that would be ridiculous if it did. But he's looking to clear the waves with them, however, and as Boosh looks to restart his way to this top lane, has got that Phage, maybe going to look to go toe-to-toe, but I doubt it, as Chunky still is a beast to contend with at this point.
Most definitely. He's 20 CS up in that lane, but hasn't really done a lot with that early kill that he got. Hasn't been able to apply map pressure. He's just been trying to push out that top lane. With Dragon up in 20 seconds, we do see Razor trying to rotate around towards it. He's been spotted out here by Maxlaw. Razor does have 2 levels advantage though, so if it comes down to a smite war, you have to expect Razor to win.
Yeah, and to be honest, although I agree with where Maxlaw's been going with his build, kind of, you don't really need Stalker's Blade on Lee Sin. You don't need any more slow, I feel. I think Tempest and Cripple is already good enough. And you can see he's starting to fall behind on gold because Ranger's Trailblazer just allows you to farm that much quicker. It makes up for the poor farming that you have the further you get into the game without that extra AD. But he has got that warrior enchantment now, so we'll have a little bit of damage behind him as Boosh looking to come into the mid lane.
They lost 2 towers though.
Yeah.
UNiTE just lost 2 towers for basically nothing. They're going to apply some dragon pressure, but there's still a teleport on Chunky, and Boosh tried to get a gank off onto Ramil, but didn't really manage to get anything out of it. At the moment, they're in a better position for the dragon fight. Hado is out of position, has to flash away, which is great. Maxwell as well pushed away towards the bottom side. They might just give up this dragon and say Chunky's going to get a second tower for us in the top lane.
I don't know.
Would be interesting, but you can apply some pressure here.
Yeah, he teleports coming. I wouldn't expect him to give it up that easily.
Oh, Boosh is the tidal wave. Here comes Chunky. He flashes away. Chum the water's not connecting. Limit takes out Maxwell, but Limit is the target.
Oh my word!
Was so nicely placed. Boosh is massive at the moment, so Scott does pick up Limit. They're going to turn onto Hado, so Scott from the side. Hustling is there as well, has to flash away from Scott just in case. The Hado will go down. Cocoa Pox picks it up. Chunky gets caught in a Howling Gale as well, but he will Broken Wings his way across towards safety. A good fight for UNiTE means that they'll pick up the dragon along with 3 kills. Yeah, that was a really nice turn for UNiTE there. They're going to get the dragon, and that was poor from a Rift right there. They didn't give the respect to the Hecarim that they should have done. As you can see, there is the teleport coming in. The tidal wave is absolutely brilliant, but unfortunately it's the turnaround. You'll see in a second. They churn the waters and the kill onto Maxwell. That's the turnaround right there. Hits 3 people. Chunky doesn't have the potential. He uses that Broken Wings, the Wind Slash at the end, doesn't get anything with it, and they're going to catch on to Hadal. It was all about the turnaround from Boosh right there. That Hecarim ultimate was absolutely fantastic. Yep, absolutely superb. Brings them back within 1,000 gold as well. 4 kills to 4. And they're still 2 towers down. If they can pick up a couple of towers from themselves, they will be able to get into that gold lead. Had the Triforce completed on Boosh as well, which is such a big item on that top lane Hecarim.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And he's got that Triforce as well. So still probably will struggle to go toe-to-toe with Chunky in a 1v1. But he's going to be such a devastating force in the team fights. And you saw exactly how the team fight was working from UNiTE there. They turned that fantastically. And to be honest, a lot of that was down to how Maxwell got picked off right at the start. Yeah. I really feel like Maxwell's been struggling to make an impact in this game. And I could say that about quite a lot of the games that we've seen him play. He hasn't really had the early aggression that we're used to seeing from him. But give him a little bit more time. Needs to get a little more items under his belt. And then maybe he can look to make the plays. Definitely needs to use those wards to get some good ward kicks off and try to make some picks, but unfortunately he hasn't had the same level of impact that actually Razor, with all that farming, really gone his way.
He's got that Juggernaut enchantment as well, so he's a very, very tanky Skarner at the moment. I like what Rift are doing though. They're pushing out these side lanes, they're getting as much pressure down as they can, and then they are rotating mid and trying to get some damage down onto this mid lane tower. The problem being a Limit with that Athene's Unholy Gale, and Athene's Unholy Grail can clear for days, and it makes it a lot more difficult for them to harass him down and get that tower low. Maxwell getting some deep wards here in the red side jungle of UNiTE. We do see Ramil waiting around the corner just in case anyone decides to come and clear out this wave, but look at UNiTE, they know that something's up. They've gone the long way round, they'll spot out Ramil, they know that the rest of Rift are in the jungle, and
oh, the flash onto Ramil.
Ramil's going to get destroyed. He tries to play for Trickster away, does flash at the end as well. Nice jump on Limit picks up the kill. UNiTE, being united in the team fight, managed to get a kill there. Bosch pushes off Chunky from the mid lane tower as well. And UNiTE showing their stuff. Maxwell caught out of position again.
This could be a great opportunity for Boosh.
Yeah, Onslaught of Shadows is available, but the positioning was just slightly off from the rest of UNiTE. They weren't able to follow up if he went all in. Yeah, if they'd been a little bit closer there, that was a perfect opportunity for Boosh to look to form the engager. But Ramil overextending in that bot lane, unfortunately, doing his team no favors by going down. A lot of flashes burnt, however, on the side of UNiTE. So this is something. Oh, Chunky goes in. There's the tidal wave as well, but that was a bit miscoordinated from the Hado and Chunky. It looked like Chunky was going to go all in. Tidal wave didn't pop his ultimate, and then they decided not to do it. Yeah, the Hado just miscommunicating means that they've lost that big engage tool, or they've been disengaged tool as well. Yeah, they haven't used Chunky's ultimate there, so that's still in the bag for him. They need to make use of that. But right now, I feel like Chunky is going to be focused quite easily in team fights. There's a lot of CC coming down from Razor and Boosh. Really, Chunky should look to maybe exploit that split pushing role that a Riven is so good at, as he's going to take this ward down here. But really, Riven 1v1 right now could take on the majority of the UNiTE team. Yeah. I feel like in a team fight, she's going to be easily focused down. If you're right in the fray of things, and Boosh can get a lot of CC, in Limit and Razor have the kit to be able to take Chunky down before he has the impact that he needs to. It's an Aramic Scoundrel, 5 players mid for each team, and we do see Perilous Rift trying to push down this tower. Both mid lane towers are quite low, And at the moment, Rift have decided to split themselves up. Ramil going towards the bottom side of the map will try and put some counter pressure down onto the bot lane, but UNiTE have shown they can deal with that. They know what they want to do if Ramil does go for that split push. And it looks like they're going to push down mid lane. Razor quite tanky, could tank up a couple of tower shots. They should be able to get this one relatively
they could just look to push down this mid lane.
Ramil has given up mid lane tower here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to put a lot of pressure onto his bot lane tower, but he has just given up the mid lane. He can't stick around because there's going to be an immediate reaction from UNiTE. And Ramil doesn't have anything in his kit now to escape. There's pings coming down. He's going to have to back away.
He hasn't even got his Lich Bane yet. If he had Lich Bane,
don't stick around, Ramil. Don't stick around.
Don't stick around, Ramil. We do see Hustling coming down, but the problem for UNiTE there was they needed to leave a few people mid lane. Hustling is going to get caught out a little bit by Ramil. He has to back away. Ramil only has Sheen. If he has Lich Bane, I can understand this a little bit more because he'd push the towers a lot more aggressively. Boosh onto the shadows, onto Ramil. Does have the playful Trickster available. He'll try and jump away. Doesn't have flash, of course. The culling comes out. Jump the waters. Hustling can chase this one down. Not quite able to connect with that last bit. The culling is so close. Meanwhile, Chunky is split pushing top lane. Doesn't manage to push down that tower too much. They will go for the blue buff. Maxlaw trying to take that one away. And Ramil does escape towards safety in the bottom lane. So Scott will be handed over that blue buff. Chunky will try and push it against Razor, and with the help of Haddo and Maxlaw, along with the Scott coming around the corner,
Chunky.
He does manage to go all in. There's the tidal wave.
Chunky's going to go on to end limit. He gets the kill. Word!
He's going to keep going on to Razor as well. Chunky's going to survive this, and that is a double kill for Ribbon. Not the best engage there at all from UNiTE, and they lose 2 members.
I completely was wrong about Ramil sticking around. It basically got his team a whole chunk of gold there. He stuck around, and to be honest, it was more of a UNiTE misplay than a good play by Ramil, because obviously if Boosh had actually landed his ultimate, there would have been potential for big trouble for Ramil there, but Boosh missed his ultimate, used it a bit preemptively. You're going to see here, basically Chunky gets engaged on. A lot of damage comes down onto him, but the Scatter the Weak doesn't land. That's the key thing there. Doesn't get the stun. So Chunky's immediately out of the ultimate and is back on the field with his own ultimate. And there you see the Wind Slash and fantastic play managing to pick up the kill. The main point there is that the Sphere was cast behind Chunky before the Scatter the Weak came out. So he didn't get stunned. He just got pushed back and immediately broke out and did a lot of damage. And you saw exactly what Chunky can do when given the opportunity.
They just mistimed their CC because the Impale hadn't finished by the time they were trying to get the stun off with the Scatter the Weak. If they timed that perfectly, Chunky would have been a very dead Ribbon, but not quite able to connect on that. He's going to try and push down mid lane as well. 3 towers to 1 in favor of Perilous Rift. The Dragon is live as well.
Ramil though.
Ramil goes into the backline. Red team get the Dragon. That's going across the Perilous Rift. Ramil's going to jump onto Hustling. He playful tricks us away, but there's a teleport behind them. They need to be careful. Onslaught Shadows is available here. Teleport cancelled though, because Chunky was right on top of that ward, and they do manage only to lose the Dragon. They might lose their mid lane tower as well, because Hustling is very low. Meanwhile, Boosh trying to get that tower in the top lane. Should be able to get that one down. He's got that Ice Force with the Spellblade passive. Not able to clear out the wave quickly enough to stop Perilous with pushing down this mid lane. It looks like they're going to keep pushing though, because they know the teleport's not available, and they have quite a lot of damage coming out from that second Dragon for themselves. Going to clear these minions very quickly. Ramil once more backs away towards the side. You've seen him trying to get this flank off quite a bit, or trying to go and split push a different lane. It's worked out for Perilous Rift thus far, but if he keeps doing it, you have to wonder whether UNiTE will just start going for these full-in engages and saying, well, we know your mid laner isn't here anymore, let's just go all in. They need
to start taking advantage of the fact that they've got Boosh, who can get a very quick engage off.
He is a mighty Boosh.
He's a mighty Boosh. He can get a lot of damage off with that Hecarim Onslaught Shadows, and mainly, it's a very, very quick form of engagement. You can't really react to it very quickly. Obviously, there's a little bit of a wind-up time in the movement of the Hecarim model, but in the majority of cases, it's a pretty reliable engage. And then you have the follow-up with Syndra and Razor, but we're not seeing that. Really, we're seeing Rift dictating when and who they want to engage upon, and going for these smaller skirmishes, which really benefit the Rift team. They've got Fizz and they've got Riven that spells small skirmishes all over the place, and then you're going up against a Syndra and a Hecarim who really want to be looking to 5v5 team fight and get disruption across the team. Just not happening for UNiTE right now. They're not out of it though. It's so close at this point in time. Rift definitely not running away with it completely.
UNiTE, I think, have realised as well that they want to be getting some tower pressure, but they put 4 men bot lane, and you know what this spells for Rift? This spells a Baron. They're going to start it up. It's down to 11,000 health already. Chunky, they're going to be able to tank it up for a little bit. Wow, this is so dangerous. Ramil acting as the distraction again. It looks like it's only going to be Janna, only going to be Cocoa Pops. Can he steal this away? Can he make say cheerio to the Baron, and here comes the onslaught of the Shadows.
Oh, no.
He's going to get jumped on, but CocoBox goes very low. Boosh tanking up 4. Ramel is off to the backside of this fight. He's going to try and get onto Unlimit. Boosh does get taken out by Chunky, but Ramel will go down to Unlimit. They stop the Baron, which is the big thing. Chunky gets locked up. Hustling going to turn and burn. Can he get it? No, the flash away. There is the Culling coming out. It's going to connect. The bubble didn't quite get there. Maxwell solo. Haddo is solo as well. Hustling's going to be able to back himself away. Oh no, he jumps onto CocoBox. And that is a very dead Janna in the backline. Hustling trying to turn onto Haddo. Should be able to chase this one down with Unlimit. And it should be a 2-for-2 trade.
Oh, they're going to Haddo though.
By Unlimit, the Haddo goes down. It's a 2-for-2 trade. And they do stop the Baron as well. But UNiTE have to realize from that, they can't rotate 4-man bot when there's a Baron on the table.
Yeah, very greedy from Rift though. They went straight for that Baron, and you know, you've got to give respect to Baron Nashor in this patch. The guy is tanky and the guy does a lot of damage. You've got to have a clear advantage if you want to go for that, or you've got to know reliably that the other team won't look to try and engage upon you. And unfortunately, that was just a very risky move from Rift. Didn't go too badly for them in the end, but could have the potential to go a lot worse. Yeah,
could have been a lot worse for them. Actually, 60 CS lead on Chunky now over that Boosh. So because Chunky's been able to split push a lot, he's got a lot more CS under his belt. He's got a Yumus, he's got his Ravenous Hydra as well, almost got a Last Whisper. That is a very big ribbon, and Ramel in that fight did a superb job. He distracted the entire UNiTE team.
Hustling.
He's going to jump onto Hustling as well. I don't think he'll be able to get all of the damage down here.
Oh,
he will with the jump. The water
he might
Hustling. Yes, he'll go down. Actually, a great little fight there by Ramel. Didn't think he was going to get it, but manages to pick up the kill with that Grievous Wounds coming out from the
There was no heal and there was no flash for
however, there is a teleport for Boosh. He's going to go on to Ramel. He might try and get the kill here.
Oh, CocoBox
gets destroyed. Ramel goes down to Boosh though. This is going to be a mid lane tower, and Ramel has become the sacrificial fish. I was going to say sacrificial lamb.
He is the bait.
He is the bait. He has baited his trap so well, and the Haddo and the rest of the team are using that as much as they can. Ramel just baiting out teleports, baiting out people, rotating to lanes, and it means that there's so many map objectives going across the Perilous Rift at the moment.
Remember, kids, don't leave your AD carry in a solo lane versus a particularly fed fish. Doesn't look like he's fed, but
don't fight the fish.
Don't fight the fish. Your AD carry is not going to do well against the Fizz at most points in the game, and especially when you don't have flash and heal. So there you are. That was Ramel essentially doing a lot of work on the map and allowed Rift to consolidate a lot of their wins at this point. And
6,000 gold in the lead now. They have 2 dragons to 1 as well, which is such a big advantage. UNiTE need to start taking map objectives, need to start getting the pressure on the map. Look at the ward coverage comparatively. This is the view that UNiTE have at the moment on the screen. This is the view that we see coming out from Perilous Rift. So many more deep wards, so much more pressure on the opponent's map, and we actually see people walking past this pink ward as well in the blue side jungle, not spotting that out. It means that Perilous Rift can just eke out their advantages bit by bit by bit. Yeah, they've got a lot of vision on up in terms of UNiTE jungle. It really is Perilous Rift's game to throw away at this point. They are definitely in a commanding lead. They've got that driving seat firmly in full gear towards the nexus of the UNiTE gaming team. Right now, Dragon will likely be the next point of contention. They're going to get this red buffer's way to rub salt in the wounds, TJ salt in the wounds. And they're going to go ahead and take this Dragon too when it's up in about 26 seconds. Obviously, there is Chunky with that teleport in the top lane too. He can go and push onto that inhibitor turret. He does a beautiful job of jumping that wall. I haven't seen him fail one of those just yet. And he's ever so... And he's in that split push role now. He's in that threat that if you leave him for too long, he will just slowly chip away at your base. And if you look to engage 4v5, unless you get a massive advantage, Chunky is just going to go ahead and tear your inhibitors to shreds. But he is back now, will be in a position to teleport, but I don't think UNiTE are going to be able to... They're giving up this Dragon by a long way. I'd say it's only the movement speed Dragon. It is the movement speed Dragon. It's the one that gives you that 5% movement speed buff for your entire team. But it's difficult for them because what can UNiTE do at the moment? Like, they are behind. They don't seem to be winning out team fights. Ramel is acting as a great distraction. Whenever they rotate, they get out-rotated. It's like watching a Korean team play versus an EU West team. They're just on the cusp, but they're not quite able to beat out those rotations. Oh, wow. I don't think that's going to go down well soon. But no, I understand what you mean. And to be honest, you just see this is how a lot of the bigger UK teams play. They look to adopt that kind of style. They really look to make team fights count so that they can... I don't think Rift are as good at doing this as Choke, but there's definitely elements of that kind of play in their game plan, and they are going to look to go towards this Baron. This is actually something we see from Rift a lot. They put a lot of pressure on Baron, and sometimes it doesn't quite work out for them, as we saw previously. And
especially since the vision is now up there.
And Maxwell is not tanky at all.
No, and actually Ramil again is going to be providing that distraction down in the bot lane. So if they chose to go for it, it would either be a bait or it would be a 4v5, and I don't think that will be happening.
UNiTE have a great team comp for fighting these fights. I mean, Ramil is going to go towards the bot lane. If UNiTE can get a good engage here, it's going to be so difficult, even with Chunky being as big as he is, to actually win that fight.
He's actually going to force them to all come and react to him right now. And if they do react to him...
Look at that. Straight to
Baron. They're splitting off now. They're going to send Boosh down there, who does have the teleport.
Going to have a pause.
Oh, pause is coming up.
That's because UNiTE just heard what I said about them being an EUS team compared to a Korean team. But all credit to UNiTE. They're playing a superb game. They're really close in this as well. It's just, it's little rotations. It's little fights that they're losing. It's little times when Ramil actually manages to out-rotate them, pressure them, put that map objective awareness on. It's because they lost the early towers.
You've got the ability to run a 1-3-1 composition here in the Rift's team. You've got the Riven who can go top. You can stick your 3 in the form of Lee Sin and your bot lane in mid, and then you've got Ramil in the bot lane. Ramil is actually going to get caught up by Boosh here potentially. Nice little disengage.
Yeah, but look at the damage from Boosh. If he can get that off, he can take out Ramil. We saw him early on. He can fight Ramil. Ramil doesn't have the damage to go through Boosh. Boosh doesn't have much magic resist, but he's very tanky with that Ransom. Ramil going to try and put some pressure down, but look at that.
This was correct.
Even with the playful trickster, here comes Boosh. He's tanking up the tower, and Ramil dodges the onslaught of shadows, gets the Chamberlain waters down as well. He's going to go in with the playful trickster.
Oh my lord, this is a little bit wow.
Ignite Boosh.
Oh my word.
A superb play there by Ramil in what looked like a lost situation. He takes out the horse, and that's going to be a free Baron here for Perilous.
He's going to force someone else to come and react to him, which obviously gives the free Baron away. That was a complete outplay by Ramil. It was so clutch, and actually he's going to force the team
Looks
of
like UNiTE are going to go for this.
They want to kind of try and contend this.
They've got Impale from Skarner, so Scott's quite low. Chunky's there as well. The Colin comes in, Maxwell jumps in, but has to flash away. There's the Tidal Wave as well. They've made them back off. Great play here from UNiTE to push away the Perilous Rift team, because they could have given up.
Oh, Chunky!
Chunky gets caught out. There's so much damage onto him. He jumps away, so Scott is the next target. Coco Pop's going to get that exhaust down. He flashes away. The Zeph is there as well. Howling Gale across the wall. There's no tower here for them to go back to. Basil, so Scott is so low. Chunky's standing off to the side. Huston picks up one. He's going to go on to Maxwell. Now there's the piercing light. That pierces the soul of Lee Sin as he goes down. Haddo's going to escape with that passive movement speed proc.
Here comes Ramil though. Ramil can clean up.
Here comes Ramil the fish against 5. Can he take out the UNiTE team? Chunky in the bush. Hustling. Oh my goodness gracious me. Ramil picks up the kill. Nice monsoon, but it's Razor against 3 now, along with Coco Pops. The teleport coming in the backline. Bush cancels it out. Ramil's going to jump onto Coco Pops. A very dead Janna. The forecast is bleak for you, my friend, as you go down. And Ramil on a rampage, 7-5-1. What a team fight, EpicSkillshot.
Right, that was all the reaction from Ramil to move up to the top lane, and a fantastic combination from the fish and the Riven.
Chunky staying around.
Chunky staying around. There was no vision there as well. He swept that area, knew there was no vision, and waited. It's the best place to be in as a Rival, because if someone face checks you, you have a lot of damage coming down immediately, and they can't do anything about it because of the key strike. A fantastic play there from Rift, and to be honest, with the addition of Chunky, the addition of Ramil, just meant that they absolutely cleaned up there.
UNiTE had the fight.
But UNiTE had the fight. They just caught Rift again going for a Baron that was potentially a poor idea.
Maxwell is not tanky enough to do a Baron.
He's
got Hex Drinker, a Stalker's Blade with a Warrior Enchant, and a Sightstone with Moby Boots.
He's got no gold.
Like, he's got nothing at the moment. He is the least fed on his team, and he is. If they keep doing these Baron calls, he's the one that you need to be careful of, because he will melt as soon as the boost goes in with the Onslaught of Shadows. Yeah,
there is no real tank core here for the Rift team, whereas you've got 2 fairly hefty tanks who do a lot of damage in their own right too. Actually, Ramil going to be sticking around here, maybe looking for another flanking position.
Done it every single time.
Pings again are coming down for Rift for that Baron. This is so clutch. They have to be careful.
Ramil's going to go. I can sense it. He's twitching. His trigger finger is ready. Here he comes down the lane, but he's going to get spotted out by minions straight away.
He's committed now.
He's committed. Away. There's the Tidal Wave. He can only commit onto Razor. And UNiTE disengaged superbly well on that, and Limit does get caught out by the Sonic Wave, but not going to engage there from Maxwell. He would have been a very deadly sin, and UNiTE disengaged superbly well. Going to be able to push down this mid lane. They need to be careful though, because Ramil and Haddo trying to flank them off to the side. No Tidal Wave available, of course. They can push for this tower. No damage on it yet, but there's the first
dangerous though, dangerous area.
So Scott is in a dangerous position as well. UNiTE will back off altogether, which is a great way to work your team around in Limit. Gonna have to back away towards his Nexus, and oh, look at this. This fight's gone up for ages. Haddo is the target.
Oh my word.
Comes in, Huston goes in as well. The Bush is there. Chum the waters onto Razor. That is great for UNiTE. They can fight this one now. Onto the shadows. There's 3 men together. They go in. Maxwell gets knocked out. There's the culling as well. Chunky jumping into the back. And look at the damage. The win slash.
Quadra kill.
Chunky with
oh my god.
the amazing fight and the ace going out from Perilous. They got caught up in the key strike. They got caught up in what was a very nice onslaught of shadows, but Perilous Rift with what was a superb combination.
I don't know what you say about this more than it was just a fantastic play by Chunky. Just wait for it. He's waiting for it to gear up as the onslaught of shadows come, and he's biding his time right now. You can see it. He gets caught up. He's on a low health. Look at the point. He's going to flash in and go for it right now.
It was the Dragon's Rage.
Oh, the Dragon's Rage kick from Max Law was so fantastic. It knocked everybody up, and the wombo combo has basically almost secured the game.
One Nexus tower down. The Monsoon does come out. Everyone's regenerating here from UNiTE. They're going to be back in the fight. Here comes Razor. Ramel was exhausted up, but he should be able to escape.
Oh, Coco Pops.
Coco Pops. He goes down to that. Miles was used, but he does manage to get the kill. Ramel using the zone in the middle of the fight here. Chunky gets the kill off to the push on the side, and now it's 4v3, but 3 on full HP here. They need to be careful with Chunky. Razor doesn't have Impale available. Maxwell's going to go down.
End
but
limit.
Look at Chunky. End limit gets destroyed. Razor's going to get bubbled up. Hustling's going to be the next target. So Scott should win out this fight. He does. And this is going to be the Nexus going to Perilous Rift. What a game and what a fight. Perilous Rift will go through in 2nd place.
Wow, that was absolutely ridiculous. That is the first and the last time you are ever going to see Chunky playing Riven at a Four Nations tournament.
You
just cannot give him that champion. That was just so good. And then that last fight was the cream of the crop for this game. It was absolutely ridiculously good. And Chunky, 11-0-4. Why do you think it's banned against him first time? The guy is ridiculous, and that was a brilliant, all credit to Maxlaw. He could have done nothing all game, and that singular Dragon's Rage kick at the end made up for everything, because it just comboed so well with Chunky there, and they pick up the game after another lovely bit of play near the Nexus. Wow.
It was just an amazing game. Like, a superb game from both teams. Tons of credit to UNiTE. They've played superbly well in their group stage. A shame, really, that we're not going to see them go through, because I'd love to see more of one of the best teams in the UK and Ireland at the moment. Yeah,
and UNiTE are just all credit to them. They played out of their skins. These guys won't be done soon. They're going to be back and ready in the UK scene. You'll see them around the might of Ireland in the form of UNiTE. But we'll get these overlays up for the group stages for you shortly, and we'll just give you a little bit of a rundown.
One more game going on tonight, guys.
Yeah, a little bit of a rundown. So, over on the side on the left, you see on the left side of your screen, this is the group that we are covering today. UNiTE Gaming finishing in 3rd place, Perilous Void finishing in 4th, Perilous Rift coming in at 2nd, and Choke Gaming
will take out
running away with 1st. I believe we have one more game.
Yeah, we have Choke Gaming versus Void, so it's 1st v 4th, but Void can pull out upsets. It's going to be an amazing game. I'm sure Choke will have a little bit of fun with it as well, knowing they're already 1st place. They want to make sure that people know they're sending a message. They want to bring out the big guns. It's going to be a superb game, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back.